It is an unfinished temple, and it dates back to being one of the earliest, stone structures in Peru. Like, it was just abandoned.
Over 100 surrounding structures were found. Connections between what's being seen here and some of those pyramid structures at Peru.
How's this stone have a straight up hole in it?
It redefined what archaeologists thought they knew about the Sechin culture. So as research continues, there may be a new contender for the oldest stone temple pyramid building culture in the Americas.
How cool was that?
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And with that, let's take a look at these sites. Here on the coast of Peru is the ancient pre-ceramic site of Aspero, which belonged to a broader expanse of the Norte Chico culture. And this group was responsible for creating what has thus far been the oldest stone temple pyramid structures in the Americas, dating back to around 3200 BCE, almost a full 1,000 years before the current dating of when the pyramids at Giza were built. Since this culture was so old, no ceramics were found. However, the majority of artifacts besides foodstuffs was cotton, and most of that cotton took the form of fishing nets. But cotton was not cultivated here on the coast. It was, however, grown here, near the ancient sacred city of Caral. And this is the main site here, consisting of multiple pyramid structures. But the broader expanse of the cultural spread consisted of roughly 18 other sites peppered throughout the Supe Valley here. So the theories are that cotton in the form of fishing nets were provided from Caral to Aspero, and in return, the bounty of the marine life that was caught was traded back with those at Caral. Now, going up the coast of Peru about 135 kilometers, we come to the ancient site of Las Aldas, which has its early occupation dates going back to around the same time as Caral, roughly 3000 BCE.
This is the site of Las Aldas. It is an unfinished temple, and it dates back to being one of the earliest, stone structures in Peru, kind of coinciding along with the Norte Chico culture. And you can see there's a sunken, it seems to be a sunken pyramid here as well.
I meant to say sunken circular plaza.
And it's literally right here on the coast.
This was a massive temple site, oriented facing northeast like many of the ancient pyramids to align with the sunrise on the June solstice. It is thought that this site was unfinished, and at some point there was a mass evacuation, likely due to a catastrophic environmental event, probably a tsunami or a massive El Niño event that forced the culture to abandon the site mid-construction and move inland. What has been found is that there were additional residential structures that were built during later periods over the initial temple structure. And so it's theorized that eventually, as cultures moved back to repopulate these coastal regions several hundred years after whatever event forced its abandonment, that they then built on top of that pre-existing structure.
People started building little towns, little settlements on top. And that's like what was repurposed. Like, it was just abandoned. See what looks like little steps there.
The sunken circular plaza is a well-known feature of Norte Chico construction, as we saw earlier at the temples in Caral. But there's been new research identifying other locations with the same feature, and I'll cover that later in this video. It did appear as though the original foundation was created by shaping the mountain bedrock to form some of the platform structures.
It's almost like they repurposed the mountain.
And then the additional stonework was added to create walls and such. You can see a rendering of what the site used to look like here. Now maybe it's because I recently released the video on Peru and the pyramids there, and those were definitely shaped by the bedrock. So there's a part of me that wants to draw some connections between what's being seen here at Las Aldas and some of those pyramid structures at Peru, even though it's 325 kilometers away. That might be a stretch on my end, as there's nothing definitive in the record that links the two cultures, but I can't help but notice some similarities. Similar to the sites of Aspero and Corral though, it does appear like there was significant connections between this site of Las Aldas and the various sites belonging to the Casma Sechin culture, just about 20 kilometers away in the Casma Valley. And that valley is just peppered with ancient archaeological sites, with occupation periods spanning thousands of years. Sites like El Castillo, Cerro Sechin, Sechin Bajo, Sechin Alto, Chanquillo, and Talcachi Concan, some of which I explore in this other video posted on the channel. I'll link it below if you want to check that out. But there was another massive site slightly further into the valley, and it looked expansive, so I had to check it out. This was Pampa de las Llamas, and it redefined what archaeologists thought they knew about the Sechin culture, because research at the site indicated an incredibly advanced system of socio-political economics dating back to almost 2000 BCE, which is when it's thought the majority of construction began here.
This is all clearly stone construction.
The buildings here were constructed of stones set in mud mortar, and this structure here, known as Waka A, is thought to have been an administrative center and storage complex.
We're just gonna get it up to the top of the main complex here.
This conclusion was made primarily on the artifacts and agricultural resources found within these small geometric rooms.
It's all stone. We're in the Casma Valley right now.
These sites here in the Casma Valley have been found to share an interconnected system of resource trading with the Las Aldas sister site on the coast, in the same way Aspero and Corral were trading further south.
This stone. How does this stone have a straight up hole in it? That's super strange.
In addition to the principal monuments, over 100 surrounding structures were found, which likely functioned as administrative centers, residences, and workshops. Archaeologists concluded that the overall layout of the site speaks to a deliberate urban planning that was aimed at reinforcing the social hierarchies, allowing the flow of goods and ritual activities to be controlled throughout the complex. It's assumed that the elite class, or the facilitators of the storage and food reserves, had the responsibility and control over dispersing the resources to the wider public.
The altar.
The reason the discoveries at this site were so prevalent is because it forced archaeologists to reconsider and reevaluate what they initially believed was the cultural influence of the Chavin culture.
See if I can go down a different road.
They initially believed that the urban planning and evolution of socio-economic political systems began with the Chavin. However, dating here at this site was found to predate the Chavin culture by over 1,000 years. So this was a major reorientation for the classification of when and where large societal, economic, and political frameworks originated. I mean, you can clearly see how vast and expansive this site was, and the organization and hierarchical structures likely needed to maintain the ways of life that were proposed.
How cool was that?
This site is often called Pampa de las Llamas-Moxeke, and Moxeke is the structure here, further into the valley. It's a temple structure situated directly in front of Waka A, and it's thought to have served as a ceremonial temple for those inhabiting the main site. Personally, what I'm interested in the most is the ongoing research that's currently coming out of the Casma Valley, because architectural structures are being found underneath archaeological sites, and those are finding to have dates earlier than the pyramids at Corral. So as research continues, there may be a new contender for the oldest stone temple pyramid building culture in the Americas. In 2008, archaeologists discovered a sunken circular plaza at the site of Sechin, and this dates back to 3500 BCE, just a couple hundred years before the pyramids at Corral have been dated. This sunken circular plaza feature seems to be a shared commonality between these cultures in this region of the coast. So it's my personal belief that these cultures were likely more interconnected than we once previously thought. Further studies will continue to tell us more, and it's pretty exciting because new discoveries are frequently being made. And I'll stay on top of them to bring them to all of you as they're released. Definitely leave any thoughts or questions in the comments section below. Also, I've started a Kickstarter campaign at the suggestion of a few people close to me for a 2025 expedition to investigate and explore some of these and other sites. So if you're in a position to help out, it can use all the support it can get. There's a link in the description below. Additionally, Pillars of the Past is looking to start its first official tour towards the end of this year, and it's going to be in the Paracas, Nazca region. There's more information on that in the description, and shoot me an email if you're interested and want more information. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate you watching and joining me in investigating these ancient sites. So again, thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video.